What do you think the ceiling is for this team, Coach?
Well, I think he needs to just slow down a little bit. As exciting as the preseason.
He had talked to Nick right before that.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Hold on, real quick. You said
wait, has Nick been the same way? Like,
no, well,
over the top, excited about the offense.
Last week,
Chris, did you see that long pass there? Good Lord, man, I'm telling you, Chris, this is like Montana to Montana. Who? I don't know who you're
J.J. Bird.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Last week, Tyreek said me and Mahomes, Mahomes and I, he might have said me and Mahomes, can be the best deep ball combo in the league. And you said you'd have rather him said the offense as a whole can be the best in the league and sprinkle in with the other guys. He did exactly that. Now, you think it might be a little over the top. So, I mean...
yeah, a little bit over the top, I think, is being kind. When you look what Alex Smith did last year, his numbers were impressive. What do you have? 28 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 67% completion rate. He played really well.
Second in the league rating to
Second
Brady.
in the league rating. So to expect a young kid to come in, really starting for the first time, I know he got a little bit of experience last year, and be able to operate the same way, everybody wants to get excited about his potential and the big plays. That's great, but part of that is making good decisions, too, and not losing games, and I bring this up all the time. So, yeah, you're going to take those chances, and maybe you're going to hit a deep ball, which will be exciting for you when you're watching the game. But then when he throws the 3 interceptions or when he's taking sacks that he shouldn't.
That is going to happen, right, Coach?
That's definitely going to happen. He's going to go through a range of mistakes that all young quarterbacks make, and to get to the Alex Smith level, that's a pretty steep hill to climb. So I think they need to slow down.
And Andy Reid, too, Andy Reid's had explosive offenses. He's had all kinds of personnel, regardless of what kind of quarterbacks he had. Old, young, developing quarterbacks. Andy Reid can do it defensively. So, Tyreek, I understand what he's saying. I get that part. I got confidence in Andy. But the last time Andy had a defense like this was his last year in Philadelphia. That defense was 29th in the league. Andy Reid got fired. They were 4-12. So we talk about their offensive personnel. Defensively, Pro Football Focus, run stopping, 31st ranked. Because Nick will be like, man, Pro Football Focus got my wide receiving core number 2nd. Yeah, but as a defense, man, this defense is going to be poor. They're going to have to score a lot of points. And when you score a lot of points, your decision-making of your quarterback, and especially a young quarterback, it's going to be stretched because he's going to have to throw the football. They can't be patient as an offense, given that defense they have now.
The defense is going to be really bad. So it's a good thing they're going to score 30 points a game because they got the best weapons in the league. And my concern is in 30 points a game, I understand it's hyperbolic, but they've got everyone. Kareem Hunt won the rushing title last year. Travis Kelce.
I would think out of all categories of NFL stats, no one knows the right answer to that one more than that question. If you pose that question to people, who was the leading rusher in the NFL last year?
Kareem Hunt won the rushing title. He didn't even win Offensive Rookie of the Year somehow. He won the rushing title. Travis Kelce over the last 2 years, when you incorporate health, has been the most consistent tight end in football. Tyreek Hill has gotten. We're already seeing the development from pure just straight line blazer to a guy they can use in different ways. And Watkins, that was Albert Wilson last year or Conley last year. So for all those reasons, I think the offense will be dynamic. Now, to your point, Coach, last year, what were the Chiefs? They were only best in the league at one thing. Now, they were very near the top in a lot of offensive categories. They were best in the league at one thing: fewest turnovers. They had 11 turnovers on the season. Not interceptions, turnovers. That number will likely double this year as far as turnovers. And so they're going to have to overcome that somehow.
They'll have 11 turnovers before Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely they could.
They're going to have a lot of turnovers.
Mahomes is going to throw. Alex Smith's biggest strength was, and some would say his biggest weakness, was the inability to take chances. Mahomes is going to be the opposite. It's going to be, like you said, some huge plays and some 3 interception games. To me, that's baked into it. I think Mahomes, the year understudy, is helpful. I think there's a reason that he's the guy they traded up in the first round to go get. And I think the early returns in the preseason, I know they're the preseason, are incredibly encouraging.
Well, when you look at Alex Smith's contribution, you see the numbers, but then it's also the decision-making in terms of the running game. We talked about the running game and Kareem Hunt. when to check to a run, when to check out of a run, when to change a run from the right hand to the left hand side. Those decisions don't show up in a stat sheet necessarily, and you can't say, okay, Alex was 80% on decision making, but now you put a young quarterback in that position, and he's got to do all those things. And there's a volume of defenses he has not seen. He just hasn't seen it. So as much as we say the third preseason game is a dress rehearsal, yeah, that's great, but it's a very small percentage of what you're going to get from the teams that you face.
It's everything but a dress rehearsal, Coach. Because you're not running what you're supposed to run, and what you're going to see is not what you're going to see.
And the Bears didn't play any starters. The Chiefs were doing this. It was one of the reasons the defense was so concerning. The Bears' Chase Daniel-led offense was lighting up the Chiefs' defense. The Bears weren't playing their starters because this was their fourth preseason game because they had played in the Hall of Fame game.
Recently, I was listening to a podcast, and they were describing the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith. Alex Smith was sort of like your steady Toyota who was going to give you exactly what you knew. And then here comes Patrick Mahomes, this Ferrari, who was just going to shine and be great and blazing, but also going to make some mistakes. He was going to stutter a little bit. We can't be surprised by that. I mean, what are reasonable expectations for a guy who played like one game last year, but who's really going to come over and take over this offense?
Yeah, well, I don't know whose podcast it is, but I want the Toyota that throws 28 touchdowns and 5 picks. Like, that's a pretty good Toyota. And so what does he say? He's going to be Maserati or Ferrari. Okay, well, so what does that mean? He's going to throw 42 touchdowns and 10 picks or whatever it is. I just think that it's so easy to criticize Alex Smith because he's not exciting necessarily, but his numbers are really, really impressive. His decision-making is impressive. And, yeah, you get a kid with a big arm. All right, that's great. Let's see what he does, day in and day out.
One other thing for the Chiefs, because last year, and this to your point about Alex Smith, they were 6th in points. They were 5th in yards. They were 2nd in yards per play. So they had a high-octane offense even with Alex Smith. They were 29th.
Even with Alex Smith, you act like the guy was
well,
no, I think, listen,
some guy that got off the street.
No, because I think there's a ceiling. Listen, man, I watch this team as closely as anybody can. There is a ceiling on your team when Alex Smith is your quarterback. We have seen it before. It is great in the regular season. There is a ceiling. There's a ceiling when your quarterback refuses to take chances. That's one of the reasons why they were 29th in the red zone last year. The absolute fear of can't throw a red zone pick, well, sometimes it means you can't throw a red zone touchdown. And so for as good as they were to be 29th in the red zone, that's where I think they can be better. Again, I don't think he's trash. I don't think there's a reason Washington wanted to give him that type of money. But the idea that the Chiefs can't improve at quarterback this year, that one I reject.
No, they won't improve this year. The problem about driving that Ferrari is it's going to be cool driving in the summer. But come Kansas City winners, no. He's going to be a Ferrari. It's just not going to be in 2018, Jenna. Like, he's going to be a good quarterback. It's going to take some time.
A way to listen to some podcasts, Jenna Wolfe. That
was the takeaway of the whole segment. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.